Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a Zonker strip Matuka. The hook I have in the vise is a streamer hook. This is a size 12 and it's probably too extra long for a streamer hook. Going to start by putting some weight on it, and that weight is going to be 20 thousandths lead-free wire. I'm just going to get that weight right in the middle. Don't want it too far forward, don't want it too far back. I just want it to sink. And probably going to put about 20 wraps on this. I'm not even counting, but I want to get 2/3 of the hook shank wrapped with lead. Go ahead and hold that back and helicopter that back piece off. Then you can push it all together. It's actually on there pretty tight. Going to use a Hemingway 8/0. This is actually green-black thread. The head is all you're going to see, so it doesn't really matter. One nice thing about Matukas and Zonker Matukas is you can make them just about any color combination you want. Push that lead up there just a bit. You can make them just about any color combination you want. And I caught my thread laying back, so I'll just trim it. We're going to bring that thread back to just about the point of the hook where it's hanging. First thing we're going to put in is going to be the rib. And for this rib, I'm going to use a silver oval tinsel. We're just going to tie that in. I'm going to leave a tag going right up to the lead wraps. This is actually going to kind of help me keep it level between the lead wraps and the back of the hook. So you don't have to use as much thread to build up a ramp there to make them level. And depending on what material you use for the body, you may not even need to build up a ramp. You can use wool yarn, you can use acrylic yarn. I'm going to use Ultra Chenille, and I'm going to use this these are earth tones, but I'm going to use this gray, and I pull out a piece of that and trim that off. This is a nice small chenille. It's maybe about a 1/4 inch. This Ultra Chenille also works nicely for making San Juan worms. You can singe the end of it there to keep it closed. But we're going to bring our thread up just past the lead wraps, and we're going to wrap our body. There we go. And you want to wrap this fairly tight. You know, you don't want it loose, you don't want it unwinding on you. And we're going to tie that off there. And we'll go ahead and trim away that excess. You can get the Ultra Chenille from any fly tying supplier, as well as the oval tinsel. Now for the wing, I'm going to use, of course, a Zonker strip, and Zonker is actually rabbit skin cut into long strips. You can see all of these long strips. And there's a difference between, when you buy, you have to watch that you get Zonker and not crosscut. Crosscut is also good if you're going to use the crosscut rabbit for the body when you're winding it, because the crosscut, here's the skin, and the crosscut lays sideways. With a Zonker, there's the skin and the hairs lay the same direction as the Zonker. So I'm going to pick a nice section out for myself here. I want to get one with a nice gray at the bottom there. Nice piece of gray. See that other leg? Yeah, there we go. Got some nice gray sections on these. I'm going to snip off a piece. Well, I want this, when I'm done, I want it to be about 1.5 the length of the hook shank. So I'm going to cut that around there. Simply separate that. And trim that. So we're going to take this Zonker, going to lay it on top, make sure all the hair is kind of pushed back right at the front there. And I'm going to hold it flat. I'm going to take a nice loose loop and then pull it straight down. To keep that, to make sure that you keep that Zonker strip on the top and it doesn't roll on you. And I'm going to secure that. Just kind of even out this head there a little bit. Now I'm going to take the Zonker strip and I'm going to pull it taut. You don't have to pull real hard, but I'm also going to stand these hairs up. Let me widen that out for you a bit so you can see. So I have these hairs stood up, and I want to definitely get it to where the first wrap of the rib is going to be, which is going to be about right in there. I'm going to take my rib, hold that right on top, take the rib, holding that rabbit strip kind of taut, and we're going to, see how when you don't hold it, you can pull it around really easy. So I get that first one and it's really tight against the hook. So now I'm going to palmer this rib. At the same time, just hold these up so you can get the thread or the rib through without plastering the hairs down. Let me get that straight up. And I can pull that tight. And take another. And one last one. And bring that rib up forward. Tie that down. And I can trim that rib. Now you can take a comb and comb that. Just to kind of get it so you don't have those spikes in there, or those big spaces in there. You can see the spaces, but once it gets wet and such, it's going to blend right back in. Okay, now we're going to put in some gills. And the gills, again, you can use a red yarn or red wool to make the gills. I'm going to use red ostrich herl. Just going to go ahead and take a couple of them off. Tie them in. Trim a little bit of that bottom off. And we're going to wrap these right in place. Yeah, just about 3 wraps with the ostrich herl is plenty. Just want to give that hint of red in there. And then we can trim away the excess. And now for the collar, I'm just going to use a Grizzly hackle, and this is from a neck, one of them big long ones that you have on the top side of the neck that are only good for streamers or collars like this. No dry flies. I don't tie dry flies that big. Don't tie any size 8 dry flies. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and secure this. And we're going to wrap this, and we're going to pull the hackle all to one side. Then we're going to stroke it towards the rear as we go. Whoop! Fell out of my hand. Got to get hackle pliers on there. There we go. And maybe about 3 wraps will be plenty. Hold everything to the rear. I'm actually going to clean up that head, and then I'm going to come back on the hackle just a thread width or 2. And that will help to push that hackle or collar towards the rear. Just take my poke and snip and get rid of the excess hackle. Take our whip finish. And tighten that knot. Got a couple of them sticking out front. I'm just gonna give them the old lighter, and then take your head cement put a good coat of head cement on there. my comb once again. And here we have a bunny strip Matuka. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.